Hi everyone, my name is Noel, or you can call me Minzamar. So last week I taught you how to do a Maasai bracelet, and today I thought we should work on letters. We're going to start with the simplest letter, which is I. This is a bracelet I made for my mom, but she wanted it smaller, so I kept this and made her another one. So to get you started, you're going to need your two colors of beads. I'm using blue in place of black and yellow in place of white. You'll also need your fishing line because I'm working on a small letter. I just cut a very little, can't even fit like my whole plate. So I think it's like 10 or 12 inches or maybe less. And you'll also need your scissors. So okay, let's just cut it. And the blue, it's a little bit tangled, but I'll just find the one string that's not tangled that we can work with. You can always just cut it from the start and let the beads flow out. Yeah. So you can keep your beads separate, but for me it doesn't make a difference. So I'll just work with it as is. So to get you started, you're going to pick 3 blue beads. Then you're going to pick one more to crisscross. There you have it. Then, I'm sorry, let me just show you. We're working in up and down, and we have like 5 rows. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the first row. This is the second one. Third. I'm sorry if you see me struggling. I'm short-sighted, and for some reason I forgot to get my glasses. So I can't see the tiny beads that well. So we have 4, and the 5th one will be turning. So remember how we used to turn? You pick 2 beads and drop them. Then you pick the third bead and crisscross it so that it acts as a turn. Good. So we have our foundation bead row. Usually when you're working different letters, you always need to ensure you have at least this much beads in between letters so that someone can read clearly. So now we're going to start working on letter I. You'll pick a blue bead, and then you'll pick, or your color, whichever color, but I'm using blue. So pick a blue bead, pick a yellow bead, pick a second yellow bead. Crisscross on the second bead. Sorry. Then insert your yarn through the second bead on the bottom to move to the next beads. Then you're also going to pick yellow beads, 2 yellow beads. Crisscross on the second yellow bead. push your thread through the next bead and pick another bead. Because yellow is a straight line, and remember we're working in rows of 4. If you're working in more than 4 rows, you might want to do the math on how that will work. We're going to pick the last yellow bead row, but first we need to pass the thread through the next bead. I hope I'm making sense. See, we picked blue, yellow, crisscrossed through yellow, passed the thread through the bottom one, picked again yellow, yellow, crisscrossed, passed the yarn, yellow, yellow, crisscrossed. So we are doing the same thing. Yellow, yellow, crisscross. So now we're almost at the end, and sorry, let me crisscross just. So we're at the end, and if you notice, we started with a yellow stand-in, so it needs to have a yellow stand-in. If I'm making sense, you see, like there's the ones that are, I don't know, horizontal diagonally facing my right, and the ones facing up and down. So we need a yellow facing up and down, and the other one diagonally. So we'll pick a blue for the, not diagonally. Good Lord, I'll look that up. We'll pick blue for the ones going left to right, and then pick a yellow for the ones going up and down. Then crisscross it. See? So now we have to go to the next row. And for the next row, because this is letter I, it's so simple, we just need to close up this part with yellow. So we're going to pick blue, and then pick another blue, then take one yellow to crisscross. Sorry. Pick a yellow to crisscross. Yeah, I think almost thought I got it wrong, but I'm good. So take your thread, push it through the next yellow bead that was facing up and down. Then, because we're closing, you're going to pick a blue and then pick a yellow to crisscross. And we'll do the same thing to the end, but because it's a small piece, let's just do it together. So you'll pick another blue. Oh, if you've forgotten, sorry, I just forgot to mention this. We usually have the 2 threads, the one facing up and the one facing to your side. So always pick, when you're working the rows on top, always pick with a fishing line facing up, because that's the one that works up the beads. Don't forget that. So pick a blue, pick a yellow, crisscross. Pass it through. The one that is now facing on your side, or the one that was facing on the bottom, will pass through. The one facing on the top will pick another blue and a yellow and crisscross on the yellow. So now we're at the end. Let me put it down just a minute. We're at the end of the row, and all that's left is for us to have an extra foundation chain. or an extra foundation for beads, and then we're good. If I was working on someone's name, maybe Irene or Ian, I'd be done with this with letter I, and I can move on to the next one. So to finish it off, we'll pick 2 blues, because when we started we have 2 blues. So we'll pick 2 blues, but this is the only time we'll pick with a thread that was going left to right. Crisscross, and you're done. See, this is I. So simple, yeah. Just to help you remember, because we need the space, don't forget the space between the letters, we're going to do a row of blue. So pick 3 blue, crisscross on the last blue, and then you can turn your work and push the thread through the next blue. Sorry, sometimes it tangles. Like that. Pick another blue with the thread facing up. Pick 2 blues. Crisscross on the second blue. So you'll just do this until you get to the end of the row. I'd love to know if you would love more of beadwork or more of crochet, because I do both beadwork and crochet. And if you would also love to, if there are any questions you have about making the letters, basically let me know in the comment section below. I'll try to post these letters close together, because teaching one letter at a time really doesn't do much for you, because you can't work with only letter I. But what I used to do when I was learning how to do beadwork was I'd take pictures of people's bracelets, and I'd just look at the pattern when I'm on my own and try to figure out how the beads were joined together. You know, like once you have the basics of how the beads go together, you can figure out the patterns. Yeah, so you can also do that, take pictures of bracelets and try them out on your own. Or if you're good with grids and patterns, you can also just create your own patterns. So we're at the end. What I'm going to do is pick from my right, I'll pick a blue, the one that was facing on the side, because we're at the end of the row. And I'll pick another blue, and just like that, you have your first letter. So I'll show you how we close this up in a different video, because I'd shown you how we close it up if it's this way, if it's like round. I hope you remember that. So I'm gonna show you how we close this. Let me just show you on this one, because there's no need to make that a different video. So we have 2 threads going in through the top bead on your right, yeah. So you'll take one of them, the one facing outside, and push it through the bead that is below it. Then you'll push it through the bead that is at the bottom of the last bead you added. I hope I'm making sense. It's like I'm going round. Then we'll push it through this one. So like the last 4 beads have this one fishing line going through all of them, so that they come and meet at the same point. Once you get there, usually I don't know if it's called a surgeon's knot or something, but like when you're making a knot, usually go in through once. I do it 3 times, twice, sorry, not thrice, twice. Then I just tug pull and tug until it settles in the middle of the two beads. Make sure it's in the middle. Then I go in again, this time just once, and pull. Make sure they're really tight so that your beads don't look wobbly, like you see mine, because they kind of look a little bit wobbly, but if I was joining it, it wouldn't matter because there's a way they just find their place. Then I'd take the thread and push it through a couple of beads facing up. I've pushed it through two. If you can push both of them at the same time, but sometimes if you can't see, pushing one at a time is easier. So I do that, and then I get my scissors and cut very closely without cutting the previous beads. I hope I'm making sense. And there you have it, letter I. So we'll try other letters later if you're interested, but basically if you can take a picture of this, I'll put a close-up for it so that when you want to do your own letters, you can always just come back to it and see. I would also love to know if you'd want to learn other patterns. There's this bracelet I was working on in 2020 and I never got to finish because I think I either got lazy or I was moving and I got lost in some of my work, but I found it. It's in my size. I'm gonna finish it. You can head over to my Instagram if you want to see how it looks finished. If you'd also want to learn how to make this, let me know and I'll make a video for you. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on my next one. Don't forget to like and share this video with beaders or anyone who's interested in learning beadwork. And I'll